Okay, finally, the how to prepare the LOI letters video. So coming in, I just picked a random lead that we had that could use this kind of workup. Um, so what you want to do if the lead is more than a week old, I would come in here and just kind of double check your numbers, double check a few things. First, make sure the property is still owned by who we have our contact information for. So it is. I went over to the PVA website and found that they still own it. So we know we're going to be in contact with the right person. If it's a Zillow FSBO lead, go and check and see if it's still listed. If it's not still listed, check to see if they still own it. If they still own it, we'll still talk to them. You also want to come over to Realtor, and Realtor is going to have in here if it's listed by a Realtor. If it is listed by a Realtor, generally our options are limited. We may be able to figure out how to work with properties that are listed by realtors in the future, but for now, we're not going to be going after properties that are listed with the realtor. So it will say in here something like listed with Amanda Willette at SCL Homes Realty or something, and that means it's listed with a realtor. So just, if that's the case, just move on to the next one. And then after that, like I said, if it's been a week or 2 weeks, I want to go in and make sure that our value estimates are still accurate. So I'm just going to come down here, and I already had it all pulled up. You know how to do this, so I'm not going to go through all that, and just go through and double check and make sure that our numbers are still the same. Like this one's changed a little bit, so we can go ahead and bump it up to the updated price. And go on to your next ones. This one didn't have a value for that. This is the value for Redfin, and it's down a little bit, so we'll update that. Yeah, this was still the same. What about total view? Total views went up as well, so let's update all that. And then since Find Comps now didn't have the estimate, well, like I said, go ahead and take the lowest one and plug it in there, which bumps up the value a little bit. Okay, so now all your numbers are updated here. I went ahead and signed us up for a Renometer Pro account because the problem I had making this video was I was running into the paywall. So Renometer I found is the best one to use. So I went ahead and signed us up for a Pro account. With Pro features, we now have an option to choose max listing age. Try to keep it at 12 months. The lower the better here. Ideally, I would like 6 months, but they don't offer that. So 12 months is fine. And the login for it will be in the offer making training module in Podio. So let's determine the rent value of this property. So just copy the address. And then this one, how many bedrooms was it? We don't have a value. Let's see. Let's go with that one. 3 bedrooms. So I'm going to go ahead and update this then. Okay. 3 bedrooms. Analyze my rental. Okay. So now also with these updated features in the Pro version of Renometer, we get a listing of the nearest rentals. and when they were listed and for how much. So this is very good information. Typically I'll just come in here and click on the closest one. It's $6.50, but you know, you want to just use the closest ones to kind of verify your numbers. But generally the median price here will give you a pretty good idea. So you can just plug that in for our initial analyzing. It's fine. It's fine. So just come down here and add the monthly rent as $800. Okay. So now, again, we'll want to just make sure we have all the repair information and a good repair estimate. That looks about right. So come over to the calculator that was provided and put in the average estimate here for the fair market value. That's the first thing we're going to change. Okay. And then discount is going to be 70 for the all cash offer. It's always going to be 70. You need to change the square footage to what the house's square footage is, which is this. And updated here. Okay, so the repairs in here go by price per square foot. Generally, the cosmetic ones are going to get us about $5 a square foot. But I still kind of do want to use this one that we came up with using the rehab calculator. So when we get this over here, just come in and figure out what that is per square foot. So divided by 1704, that's about $260 a square foot. So you can change that to $260. Okay, and that gives us about what we got over here. It doesn't have to be perfect, just close. And then the monthly rent is something also we need to plug in. And monthly net rent is always going to be 50%. That is just a good rule of thumb. About 50% of your gross rent is going to go toward expenses like vacancy, repairs, maintenance, saving up for bigger maintenance items over time. We want to put away about 50% of the rent coming in each month toward those kinds of expenses. So for this property, it's going to be $400. So that's going to be useful to us in the future. So but just always leave it at 50% here. And then desired profit, I've decided let's just go with 5,000 starting off until we get a deal. Let's get a deal under our belts, and then we'll worry about tweaking our profit price. But like I said, just stick with 5,000 for now. I don't want to go any lower than 5,000 really, just so we can start getting some money coming in. That makes sense for us. So let's go over now. Option 1 is done. That's all we have to do here in option 1, and that spits out what our offer to them is going to be, our MAO, which the calculations in here get it to that. So this is our MAO for our all cash offer. Option number 2 over here is a seller finance offer. So but this is going to be interest only payments. So what that means is the seller is going to be earning a percentage of their home's value each month. And then at the end of our agreed set time frame, they are going to get the balloon payment of their home's value to them. But in the meantime, either if we buy it or if we sell it to somebody, they're going to be paying an interest only payment on their property. So basically, what this means for the seller is they earn whatever percent return on the home's value for the time period that we agree to. So this is like having the home's value sitting in a savings account earning a 5% interest rate, which is good. Normally, interest rates in savings accounts are like 1%. So this has some advantages to the seller in that sense. But when we're coming in here and trying to figure out the terms that we need to put this at in order to make sense for us, we don't want a negative number here. So these terms for this property would not make sense. So what you can do to come in here and play with it and make it make sense for us, because we want these numbers right here to be positive. If it's not positive, it's not a deal. And we need to try to maybe play with these and see if we can make it a deal and make it work. So here, first thing I'll try to do is take down the percentage of the interest that they're earning. And if that bumps it up to a positive number here, that is good, because that means that it's a deal. Even at this purchase price, we can make it work. How? So what I look for typically is whenever I'm holding a property and renting it out, I want to make sure that it is cash flowing at least $100 per unit. So what I'll look at here is the monthly payments. So we came over here and we know that half of this is going toward expenses. That does not include any payments on any money or the seller financing. That doesn't include that. So we have to take 400 and subtract 354.89. And we see that that is our cash flow amount per month. If we were to acquire this property ourselves, that is our cash flow amount. So, like I said, I go for $100, so that's not where I want to be. You can again come in and play with these numbers. Maybe we take this down to an 85% discount, and that drops the monthly payment to that. It also drops the purchase price, but considering the fair market value of this property is 100 and it needs some repairs, that's not bad. That's still, better than this. It softens the blow a little bit coming in here, and it makes it work for us. So again, half your rents. So you can, that brought that up a little. It's still not where we want to be, but it did bring it up. Another thing you can do is change this some more. Like I said, savings account pays you 1%. If you can drop it down to 3% and you get them to agree to that interest rate, awesome. And if you want to, try coming in here and playing and putting the discount back up at 90, if it still works, if the cash flow after all the payments, after, the 50% is taken out, it's $100, then that works for us. So, the 400, which is half of what the rent would be, and that means that with these terms right here, this property will cash flow $133.83 a month. So, and then this is the return on investment, the cash in return on investment. So this is good. These terms right here work. If we can get the seller to agree to this, it's a good deal. So what benefits would the seller have in this arrangement? They'd be getting 90% of their the market value of the property and earning 3% on the value of the property for 5 years, and then they get this amount at the end of those 5 years. So that's the advantages of this one. And then, like I said, if we acquire it, this is our advantages. We get $133 a month. So, you know, there's advantages and disadvantages of this one. So let's come over here to this last one and make this one work. So this is the seller finance offer. What this means is they are taking monthly payments over a long period of time and acting as basically the mortgage holder on this property. So generally 30-year mortgages are typical. So I start with trying to make it work at 360. And you can see here the cash flow is not going to be $100 here because we're going 400 minus 329. It wouldn't be $100 here. So what you can do here again is play with the discount percentage. There's less you can play with over here, but you can still figure out how to make it work. So like I said, knocking it down to 90% kind of did it. You can also shorten the number of monthly payments. If they're like, no, I want to be cashed out in 20 years or whatever, you know, I don't want to be holding this and whatever, taking it for 30 years from you, then you can shorten this, but as long as it works, you can make it work for them. You may have to then change the discount, but like I said, you just play around until it works. For us, we want, like, our goal is to make it work for us and try to get it as close to what the seller wants as possible. So like, just to double check how much, if we were to acquire this property at these terms, how much cash flow would it bring in? So let's look at it here. The 400 minus 295, that would cash flow $105. That meets our criteria. So like I said, you can play with any of these values here to get the property to work out. You know, it may not always work at 100% of a discount, like 100% of the value, but you can play with this to try to get it to work. So once we get terms in here that work, that are close enough to what the seller wants, and like I said, they also work for us, we'll go in and fill out the letter template. So I uploaded this into the training module. This is the letter of intent to purchase, and it tells you exactly what cell to put in each thing. So you can go through and fill all this out if you want, but typically what I'm going to do is just come in and get the information off Podio for these first few little blocks. But anyways, make a copy of it, and I'm just naming it the address LOI. So this one was, I think, 936 East St. Catherine. LOI. Okay. And then once it's made a copy, you can come in here and plug in your information. So it was Joel Hamilton, and I'll just make it easy on yourself. Just, you know, this is not a binding thing, so just put something in there. Oop, that's the date. Hang on. Okay, and then come back to your calculator. This is the option 1. This is the all cash offer. Okay, and then just fill out the rest of it. It's 106 466.70. And why we're going with $0 down right now is we don't, starting off, we're not having a whole lot of money to put down on properties. And that is just how it's going to be until, like I said, we build up a little bit of income and have some money coming in, or we find sellers that, or buyers rather, that have some down payment that we can offer down payment to the sellers. But for now, we're gonna have to go with $0 down. In the future, I do want to kind of bump it up and give the sellers something coming out of the deal, but this is what we can do for now. Like I said, in the future we will try to offer some down, but for now this is what's going on. So your interest rate goes in here, and then your payment amount, the monthly payment goes in there. So 266, and then the full balance is going to be due in 5 years. Okay, and then come in here and fill in for option. Okay, and then you just put in your contact information. For now, the ones I'm uploading, I just went on who made the offer. So let me come down here. Looks like maybe, Ian. I mean, you guys are gonna know better than me. I'm just gonna put in Ian for now on this one, just, you know, but just leave your contact information down here so that they can get a hold of you and with any questions about it or anything. So Ian, and then Ian's number 502-410-2136. Okay, so there you go. That's the letter of intent and how to do it. So kind of to recap here, some advantages of each of these. This first one here, it's cash out. They get to walk away from the property. They're done with it. This one, it's interest payments on the value of the property over a shorter amount of time than option 3, and this frees them of the headache of being a landlord. It gives them a monthly income off the property, and then in 5 years they're able to cash out and just walk away from it with this amount of money. So I don't know, that sounds pretty good to me. So if I was a seller, I would definitely consider that one. And then option 3, a monthly income off the property for a long period of time, and you get a higher price than this. So this one maybe is a little less appealing personally to me, but we don't know their situation. That's why it's good to offer these 3 options. They may want this. They may be looking to retire and they want that monthly income guaranteed coming in for 30 years. You know, this will work for some people. This will work for some people. This will work for some people. So I'm really excited to be able to offer these 3 options. I think it's gonna, like I said, open a lot of doors, and allow us to live up to what I'm trying to go for here with helping people with their unwanted property. I think this is going to be great for it. We'll be able to try to get as close to what they want for the property while still making it work for us. So I'm really excited to be able to offer this. I think it's going to, like I said, going to open a lot of doors, and I'm looking forward to seeing the results of it. If you guys have any questions about how to fill this out, let me know. Also, whenever you go to upload these into Podio, just, download a copy of it from wherever or pull it off your computer, however you want to do it. Add it into Podio. To do that, you just come over here and drag it in under the files on the lead itself. And also come over here and take a screenshot of the figures you used and upload that too. So, however you want to do it. You guys have Photoshop experience and stuff, so you know how you're going to do it. This is just how I would do it. Bring it into Paint and crop it down because I don't have Photoshop. I just go basic. But crop it down, save it, and upload that into Podio too. So for the first 5 ones you do, I want to see them and review them before you send them out. So let me just do this and upload it in Podio, and let me know, tag me on it or whatever, and say, hey, this needs review before sending out. I really just want to kind of review 5, make sure we're getting it, make sure the numbers are working well, make sure everything's, a-okay, and then you guys will start getting it on your own. So, like I said, just let me know if you have any questions. I'm here. Just hit me up. All right.